various apostolates associated with the Legion of Mary, you're kind of, forced to make contact with strangers, and that's always been very difficult for me. I'm getting more used to it now. It's still a little awkward at times, but with the Legion, you pray and you know that you're being watched over, so you really don't worry.
Hi， 我係阿信喎，咁咧就已經參加咗呢個聖母軍咧，都有成19年啦，原來數起得上嚟。咁咧，我當時咧就由青年嘅支團開始啦，咁到而家，咁啊當然已經係一個成年支團嘅團員啦。係啦，首先咧就梗係介紹翻我自己嘅工作啦。咁我咧就教舞蹈班嘛。Hi， 對住鏡頭 say 聲 hi 先 ，hi 係啦。
Lawyers and you've all kinds of people in the Legion, professional people who wouldn't normally be mixing in these circles. And yet they learn in the spirit of Mary to see her son, even in the most distressed disguises of people who are just not making it in this life.
Since joining the Legion of Mary, I can see that there is an opportunity to stand up for the faith at times, give good example. I've become more aware of our Blessed Mother's role as a mediator or mediatrix on the path to God.
All over the world, members of the Legion of Mary share their Catholic faith in Jesus and their trust in his mother Mary. They call themselves legionaries, not because they are a conquering army, but because with loyalty and courage they join in a common mission to spread the good news. The Legion is a powerful group in the service of the Church, and its strength is the power to do good, rooted in the strong faith of each individual. There are branches of the Legion of Mary in Catholic parishes in every corner of every continent. Every week, small groups gather together to pray and to take part in apostolic work. Jesus asked his apostles to spread the gospel, a challenge that remains for all Christians. To help in their work of evangelization, Legion members draw special inspiration from Mary, Mother of God, Mother of the Church. Every Catholic is welcome to join, and each person comes for a different reason. To reinforce their own faith, or perhaps to introduce Christianity to non-believers, or simply to revitalize the faith of others. Members of the Legion of Mary know the grace and rewards of knowing a loving God.
So if you don't put something into your faith or spend some time learning about it or putting it into action, you're not going to get results. It's just going to be dead,
And I think it's the simplicity of it. It's deceptively simple, 2 hours apostolic work a week, But if a man did that or a woman did that, if you do it regularly, it seems to change one's life.
The Legion of Mary started in Dublin, Ireland in 1921. Frank Duff was a young civil servant at this time and was involved in Catholic social action among the poor. But he was aware of the spiritual poverty of his fellow Dubliners. Frank and a small group of like-minded people came together and prayed to Our Lady for guidance. They knew that by reaching out to the marginalised, the sinners and those of lost faith, they could bring people to the safety of the Church by trusting in Our Lady. The little group called itself the Legion of Mary and worked as part of the local parish. As the idea became more popular, Frank prepared the Legion Handbook. In a surprisingly short time, new branches of the Legion opened up across the world. Today, with 10 million members in 191 countries, the Legion is one of the largest Catholic lay organisations in the world. And each and every member of the Legion draws on the grace of Mary, the Mother of God.
It is based on a view of the role of Mary as the mother of Jesus, the mother of the Church, who continues in that role of bringing Christ to people, just as she brought Christ into the world in a physical sense, bringing Christ through the church, which is the body of Christ. So it's a continuance of that, and it's based on that simple idea.
One of the first international centres of the Legion of Mary was Bangalore in India. Catholic parishes here have been attracting members since 1931. An aspect of Legion membership is the challenge to strive for personal holiness. Frank Duff encouraged each member to do ordinary things extraordinarily well. In that way, each one of us can be a saint.
Mother Mary has got the divine spirit in her. She is carrying the word of God. And when she has done so much, why we can't do a little?
Visiting the poor and the sick is one of the main apostolic works for Legion members.
He's all alone. Whenever we visit him, he feels some pleasure in his mind and some sort of consolation for him.
Reaching out to individuals with respect and companionship allows the members of the Catholic parish, including legionaries, share in a sense of Christian community. Supporting friendships with faith echoes the sense of community established by the first Christians. They were examples to everyone of the power of God's love. Spreading the gospel by example is one of the aims of the Legion of Mary. In developing countries, the Legion continues to be of great service to the Church. Consider Nigeria, where the Legion has been pivotal in allowing the Church to grow since the 1930s.
The setup worked out very well in Nigeria, especially approach to those who are not yet Christians, and approach to those who are indeed Christians, but are rather cold in the faith.
Lagos is one of the biggest cities in Africa, sprawling on the mainland and on islands in Lagos Lagoon. Many of the islands are connected by bridges, but some can only be reached by boat. People come to a big city like this in search of a better life. Many are still searching. Legionaries can help them find spiritual comfort.
And they need someone who will meet them in terms of one-to-one. The priest can meet them, yes, 3,000 in front of him on Sunday. But it's not the same when it's one-to-one. And a fellow Christian that they know, who is not Reverend anybody, he's just Mr. or Miss or Mrs. The witness value there is powerful.
The Legion of Mary also finds a role in places where people are often too busy to take time out to reflect on issues of faith and spirituality. In New York, legionaries make a special effort to be a witness to the faith at Grand Central subway station.
We are members of the Legion of Mary.
What's that about?
It's an international organization, for both men and women.
And then you have the Apostles' Creed, then the Our Father, the Hail Mary, the Glory, and then...
People with spiritual needs can be found in all sorts of situations. One of the great strengths of the Legion is that it's parish-based, with members who know the locality.
What we say is to local legionaries, your role is where you find yourself, not over the hill, not faraway places, so that we try and encourage everybody to start where they are, and then when it's up and running, to look, can we help in the next parish? Can we start the Legion in the next parish?
Legionaries have a special devotion to Our Lady, Mother of the Church. Mothers play a particular role in nurturing community, and in the modern context, the love of Mary for the Church continues to be an inspiration. For legionaries, Mary is not just an object of devotion. Rather, she's a role model for each one of us.
Something that Frank Duff emphasised, and I think it's the thing that's coming out more now, is that we need above all to live Mary, to imitate Mary, to be Mary, to have the mind of Mary. Mary is not just somebody we pray to or, that we ask for her intercession, but Mary is somebody we can imitate and relive in our own lives. And that's what I think is modern.
Welcome to Mary. The Mother of Jesus has come to this home.
True devotion to Mary means loving Mary with your sleeves rolled up. She's the mother of a family, and if you're a member of that family, you will help your mother in the running of that family, caring for the siblings, caring for your brothers and sisters. Otherwise, what kind of devotion to Mary is it, really?
Nairobi is like many modern cities across the world, and there are many ways for Legion members here to live their faith and serve the Church in honour of Mary. Sometimes legionaries are called to help out on special occasions, like the annual clean-up at this children's home. Legionaries are ready to respond to this challenge, but they also see other needs.
And it's part of our work to go around assisting people spiritually. And it gives me joy to think that I can be useful. In fact, I take it like it's a way of justifying to God that I am worthy alive.
60% of Nairobi's 4 million citizens live in places like this. They are pushed to the outskirts of town, beside roads and railways, literally living on the edge. Nairobi is not unusual. Places like this are home to a third of the world's population. Such poverty is a challenge for Christians everywhere. Members of the local Legion of Mary are a visible reminder to people here that their church and their God has not abandoned them. The Legion is bringing Catholicism to every corner of the world and to places you might not expect. In the territory of Hong Kong, the Legion has a particular link with Catholic schools. This results in large numbers of young adult legionaries, and they are instrumental in the mission of conversion to Catholicism. About 4,000 a year are baptized into the church in Hong Kong. It's usually the culmination of a long period of learning and reflecting on the faith. Then there are the other, occasional times when legionaries promote the faith, such as the Lunar New Year Fair in Victoria Park.
太太啊，呢度咧有啲認識天主教信仰嘅單張同埋免費嘅函授課程，你都可以嚟睇下㗎。至於小朋友咧，呢一張單張上面嘅熱線電話咧，可以打去聽兒童故仔嘅。不過咧，記住要問咗媽咪先喎。我第一次做街頭接觸嘅，起初都覺得好驚俾人拒絕，不過好彩有繩子帶住，而家冇咁驚啦。
The Legion of Mary Concilium, its international governing body, has been taking a leadership role on one of the great challenges facing the Church today.
The theme is the new evangelization, and is for the Church the great challenge of the new millennium. Priests and laity working together to proclaim the good news.
The challenge of the new evangelization, helping Catholics return to the sacraments, is common to many countries of the Western world. The lay people who make up the Legion are ready for this challenge, and in organising conferences for the clergy, they look for ways to coordinate the work more closely with church leaders.
It's interesting that this is a conference for priests which has been organised and inspired by a movement constituted primarily of lay persons. There's a huge amount we can learn from the daily Christian life of those to whom we minister. And we need a church which exceeds the importance of the ministerial priesthood and involves the work of lay people in the evangelizing mission of the church.
Last night? Yeah. All right. Very well.
Lay organisations like the Legion of Mary are increasingly important for the Church in countries like Ireland. It's true there are fewer vocations to ordained religious life, but that doesn't mean young people are not prepared to make a commitment to their faith. As these young legionaries gather for their annual conference, they are preparing to join in the work of evangelisation and engage with other young people, people of perhaps little faith or none.
You have to be listening and understand where are they at and speak to them at the level they're at and bring them along slowly. And a lot of people nowadays need a conversion or reversion to Catholic faith, but it's not instant.
We can be saints
People are now reassessing the potential in their own lives for a sense of values, a sense of commitment, and a sense of service. I think the Legion provides an outlet.
Australia is an example of a modern, wealthy and somewhat secular country. And yet, the Legion of Mary continues to grow and be a vital part of church life here. 60 new presidia have opened in parishes across Australia in the last 6 years. Christina Hayes is a young artist from Melbourne who recently joined the Legion.
Creating relationships is sometimes quite similar to creating a painting. You have to start in a general messy way. Things might not work out so well, but you learn, and the Legion helps you develop those relationships. It gives you a starting place.
The Legion of Mary has a long history in Melbourne going back to 1934. Since then, apostolic works like visiting the sick and the old continue to be part of the Legion's routine.
We meet the residents there, and often on Sunday mornings we take them to Mass.
From the Legion in the 1950s?
Most of them are in wheelchairs, so we wheel them down, and we often get to sit with them and talk.
The liaison person for World Youth Day in the parish.
It's provided me really with training in talking about faith, and with really a good grounding in my own faith that I didn't have before. On buses going up to Sydney. So.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
But before they discuss, they pray. And in between, they work in terms of they give report on assignment given, and then the priest speaks.
Saint Michael and Saint
But not to chairman their meeting.
And the Holy Spirit.
I think my role really is to affirm and encourage and stay in the background, that they want to have a good priest who will support them and encourage them and who believes in the vocation of the laity. The laity are 99% of the church.
It's clear that Legion members across the world are deeply committed Catholic laity. And a country like Rwanda also shows how the Legion can help a church grow and be a bridge of healing between people. Gatherings like this, celebrating the Legion and its work, are evidence of how it enriches the lives of these ordinary people. Buenos Aires, Argentina. Here, like in Mexico and Brazil and other countries in the region, the Legion of Mary has played an important role in the history of the Catholic Church. As countries won their independence in the 19th century, one result was a shortage of priests. In fact, it wasn't until the 1950s that the church began to grow again because of the impact of the Legion of Mary. Today, one of the apostolic works of the Senatus of Buenos Aires is to spend time with vulnerable young women. These young mothers have been sent to this shelter by the courts. For many, it's their first experience of a safe and peaceful home and the opportunity of an education. Legionaries can respond because they understand the love of another young mother.
Ser legionario, por empezar, serle fiel a la Virgen. Y para mí es justamente ese amor que uno le tiene a María, que va creciendo día a día, es serle fiel a esa misión, ¿no? Ella nos pide siempre que, bueno...
Primero porque yo tengo vocación de servicio. Entonces, cualquier tipo de trabajo que esté en relación con el ser humano, me encanta, y sigo trabajando todavía con grupos de gente joven, ¿sí? Y ahora vamos a hacer una misión en una zona muy difícil, donde existe la droga, la prostitución, etcétera, etcétera. Y ustedes saben que eso solamente lo podemos lograr cuando tenemos un corazón dedicado, un corazón que ama, un corazón que cree, ¿verdad? Y que quiere cumplir con los mandamientos de la ley de Dios.
People who want to fulfill God's commandments and honor the Mother of Jesus are not alone. When the Legion in South Korea wanted to celebrate its 50th anniversary, 40,000 gathered in the sports stadium in Gwangju. Together, they share the bonds of a true faith. And individually, each one is striving for personal holiness, modelled on Marian spirituality.
in guiding legionaries in their spiritual growth.
It was a great privilege to travel on behalf of the Legion. I had the honour of going to Korea, and what always struck me everywhere I went to a different country, different culture, you found a family. That the Legion is one big family around the world, and that you're always greeted as a member of a family.
Legion members often comment that when they visit each other, there are no barriers to friendship, no problems about distance. Geography is not an issue when members everywhere share the Legion's practices and prayer life. These connections allow each one to feel part of the universal Catholic Church.
I know of no other body, clerical or lay, where ordinary members of the Legion have such a universal knowledge of the Church in Africa, Asia, Latin America, North America, Europe, to have a Catholic formation that gives a Catholic a sense of belonging to the universal Church, you know.
Legionaries undertake to bring the Catholic faith to the farthest corners of the earth. Here in a rural part of the Philippines, the approach to evangelization is no different to what legionaries do on the streets of Paris or Tokyo. Quiet, one-to-one personal contact where there is respect for the dignity of each individual, no matter what the circumstances. It's not the theological training that's important, but rather faith and trust in Our Lady. This is the approach recommended in the Legion Handbook, and which has worked since the 1920s.
The thing we found about the legionaries in the Philippines is that they're following the handbook to the letter, and that is the reason why the thing is flourishing. The meeting that I attended many meetings over there, and I have to say that they were exactly the same as the meetings I have here in Dublin or any part of Ireland. And the beautiful unifying factor of the Legion insofar as that we're all the same.
Loyal to the universal Church, the Legion always follows diocesan and Vatican policy. In return, the Vatican has approved the Legion as a valuable ally, especially because of the opportunity it provides for lay people to participate. Since the renewal of the Catholic Church at Vatican II, special emphasis is placed on the role of lay people. And so the Legion is a valuable model for the Catholic Church to grow and enrich the lives of its members.
So the idea of Frank Duff was just that, you know, that the Church cannot be just priests alone or lay people alone, each one going their own way, you know. We must be together and work together.
While the apostolic work is a visible sign of the living Christianity of legionaries, it's clear from the Legion Handbook that it's not the most important aspect of Legion membership. Remembering that the principal objective of the Legion is personal sanctification, it is the obligation to attend meetings weekly and to an active prayer life that is most encouraged by the Legion. But it's an obligation that's not a burden. Indeed, legionaries see meetings as a welcome opportunity to join with like-minded people of faith.
Frank Duff had this vision that everybody had a role to play, and the Legion makes room for everybody. So we look forward to what we can do new ways of bringing the truth, the gospel, the good news. And just as Our Lady's role was to bring Christ into the world, and the Legion of Mary, under the guidance, the banner of Our Lady, with her protection and assistance, we try to bring Christ to everybody.